Hey everyone, Happy New Year! This is going to be one of the first classes that I post for 2025, so of course it's going to be a fun one. In particular, we're going to be playing in our upside down playground, focusing on our handstands, otherwise known as Adho Mukha Vrksasana, downward facing tree. We've been playing with this pose a couple of times over the last few months, and I think that's a great way to learn the pose. When we repeat movements, our body remembers, and it means that we can get into the pose a little bit more easily. Now, before we begin, I wanted to read this quote from a book that I'm reading at the moment. It's from the World Religions, and this is actually a book I have to read for my meditation teacher training. I'm reading the portion on Hinduism, which talks a lot about yoga. And there's a little bit on yoga asana, which I wanted to read here. Whereas the West has sought strength and beauty, India has been interested in precision and control, ideally complete control over the body's every function. You know, sometimes we start practicing handstand because it looks really cool, and it does, but handstands have been around for a couple of hundred years within yoga asana, and there's a reason for that. Because it requires so much body awareness, so much body control and precision to be in that upside down position and hold and find strength in that. So maybe we come into this practice focusing on what the pose feels like rather than what it looks like. And that way we can really get the benefits from this asana. Okay, we're going to start in a child's pose. So for this position, we might take our knees a little bit wider, toes together, hips back towards the heels, just so that we can sink the chest down a little bit more. Reach the arms out in front of you. We want to focus on opening through the shoulders in this position. Forehead coming down towards the mat. Let's get really heavy for the first couple of breaths. Letting the body sink down towards the ground, hips back towards the heels. Finding connection with our breath. As we inhale through the nose, can you focus on breathing into the back of the ribs? Lifting them up towards the sky as well as to the sides of the room. And then as you exhale, letting the lungs deflate a little more. Maybe getting even heavier. You might stay a little more heavy or press your hands into the ground. So your fingertips, your knuckles, the elbows might lift off the ground ever so slightly, just to activate through the shoulders more. Feeling them broaden. And sometimes it's nice just to shift the shoulders from side to side. Drawing one armpit in the direction of the ground. And the other armpit in the direction of the ground. When we are upside down, our shoulders need to be in full flexion, which is pretty much what's happening here. So we want to make sure our shoulders are open, our back is open. One more slow breath. Keep your chest low to the ground, but start to walk your hands forward, lifting your hips off the heels, puppy pose. You might slide your knees in so they're underneath your hips. Creating a bit more extension through the spine. You might keep the forehead down on the ground. If you had enough space for you to do so, you could lift the head up, chin grazing on the ground, creating more extension through the back. If at any point this feels quite sensitive, then just come back. Maintaining the breath into the sides of the ribs, the back of the ribs, maybe even into the belly a little bit more here. And then as we exhale, heart might pull down towards the mat even more. Two more breaths. And keep your hands where they are. Start to lift yourself up. Take a deep breath in. Roll yourself forward until the hips come down. Exhale, land the chest down as well. Hands come by the ribs. Squeeze the glutes. Inhale as you lift your chest up to baby cobra. Hold for your exhale. You might stay here. You could lift the feet off the ground. Legs are really long. Stay here or hover the hands. One more option is to reach the arms out in front, getting the shoulders a bit more active. Take a deep breath in. Can you lift up a little bit higher? As you exhale, come down. Plant the hands by the ribs, tuck the elbows in. Inhale as you press up into high plank on the knees. Exhale, lower yourself down through Chaturanga. Your back bend a choice on your breath in. So maybe Shalabhasana, maybe baby cobra. Exhale, land, hands by the ribs. Inhale as you push up onto your knees. Exhale as you lower yourself down to the ground. Let's try that 3 more times. Breathe in, lift up, using the strength of the back. Exhale, lower yourself down. Option here, tuck toes, lift the knees, brace core. Breathe in, high plank, maybe on the toes. Exhale, lower yourself down. Inhale, lift yourself up. Exhale, lower down. Inhale, lift yourself up, little tuck at the tailbone. Exhale, lower yourself down. With control, try not to belly flop. Breathe in, lift up. Exhale, come down. Inhale, high plank. This time, press yourself back into child's pose. Knees come down, hips come towards the heels, lowering the forehead down. Just getting a little bit more warm into the upper body and the shoulders and the core. Roll yourself forward into tabletop position. Hands come underneath the shoulders, knees underneath the hips. A couple of different options with the wrist. You can turn your fingertips out and shift side to side, or turn your fingertips back, shift forward and back. This can feel quite challenging. It's not very often where we stretch out our wrists. So just be gentle with yourself here. Find yourself through center. Feel free to keep your hands where they are, or of course you can turn them back forward. Breathe in as you lower your belly down, look forward, cow pose, arch through the back. As you exhale, round through the upper back, belly button towards the spine. Inhale to open, cow pose. Exhale to round, cat pose. And let's go 3 more. Maybe you constrict the back of the throat for your Ujjayi Pranayama, helping to slow down our breath and find control. 1 more. Find a neutral spine. Again, feel free to turn the fingertips forward, stay here, or tuck the toes. Lift the knees to a hover off the ground. Make sure the elbows are slightly bent if your fingertips are still turning back. Brace the core tight. Push out of your shoulders. You want to find a little bit of protraction, so you're puffing up. Hold here for about 2 more breaths. lower your knees down. Whew, that was intense. Let's flip the hands. Fingertips still facing behind you, but now the fingernails are towards the ground. Shift back and forward if it feels good. We want to make sure our wrists are warm because we're going to be bearing a lot of weight with them. Walk yourself back, come up into a kneeling position, take a deep breath in as you lift your arms above your head, squeeze the glutes. As we exhale, bend the elbows, cactus out the arms, squeeze the shoulders onto the back body. Let's go one more time, breathe in, lift up, neutral spine, hands slightly in front of you. As you exhale, bend the elbows, open the chest. Nice job. Plant the hands down. Tuck onto the toes, lift the hips up and back, downward facing dog. We're not going to stay here for too long, but just pedal out your feet. Create some movement. Dropping one heel down. Dropping the other heel down, maybe moving the shoulders, moving the hips. On your next breath in, take a slow walk up towards your hands. Land your feet hip width distance. As you exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Stay here with the hands kind of dangling towards the ground. If your hands reach, you can lift up the toes, sliding your palms underneath. Maybe the toes come towards the wrist creases. Tuck the chin in towards the chest, let the crown of the head pull down towards the ground. Bend your knees quite a bit here so that the upper body can pull down a little bit more. One more breath. If your hands are underneath your feet, just unwind them. Bring the hands up to the shins. Inhale as we lift halfway, shoulders on top, shoulders in line with the hips. As we exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Lift all the way up through standing. Take a deep breath in through the nose. Arms come above the head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, hands by the sides, Tadasana, mountain pose. Find your foundation, your posture, palms facing forward. Little bend of the legs, squeeze the glutes. Tuck the ribs towards the hips so we're not arching through our lower back too much. This is pretty much the same position as handstand, except upside down. So just remember this, the stacking, shoulders, hips, legs. 5 rounds of Surya Namaskar A with a little bit added on. Take a deep breath in, lift the arms above the head, Urdhva Hastasana. Exhale, bend your knees, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhaling, halfway lift, long spine. As we exhale, hands down, step back into your plank position, either knees or toes, Chaturanga. Inhale to your back bend of choice. It might be Urdhva Dhanurasana or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog. Sorry, that should have been Adho Mukha Vrksasana. Sometimes Sanskrit words get muddled up. Let's take about 3 more breaths at the back, all through the nose. As a push of the hands into the ground, you're really gripping through the palms, through the fingertips. Bending your knees as much as you need to lift your hips up and back, getting a longer spine. 1 more breath. From here, we're going to bend our knees, look forward, take a deep breath in. We're going to try a couple of little hops, like really small little hops, just lifting the feet off the ground a little bit, starting to get a bit more height with the hips, until we land towards the top of the mat, Uttanasana. Lift halfway, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward, Uttanasana. Inhale, reach all the way up. Exhale, hands by the sides, Tadasana. Let's try that again, breathe in, lift. Exhale, fold. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, hands down, step or hop back into plank or chaturanga. Inhale, your back bend of choice could be cobra or upward facing dog. Exhale, downward facing dog, Adho Mukha Vrksasana. 3 to 5 breaths here. Tucking the chin in slightly. Eye gaze your dristi on something that isn't moving in between your feet. Another way to control our senses. One more breath. Breathe in, look forward. Maybe we reduce the number of hops that we do, maybe making them a bit bigger. Lifting hips a little higher. Folding forward at the top. Breathing in, lifting halfway. Exhale, fold forward again. Lifting up, breathe in. Exhale, hands by the sides. Round number 3, breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift, breathe in. Exhale, hands down. Maybe you try hop back, toes meet the back of the mat by the time your elbows bend. You're using your breath to make your way back. Downward facing dog. Just know that you can always come back into child's pose at any point instead of downward facing dog. 2 more breaths. Softening the heels in the direction of the ground, almost like you're trying to pull your toes up towards your shins, so you're getting active through the front of the ankles as well. Breathe in, look forward, bend your knees. You might even come into a little tuck where your hips land on top of your shoulders. Ooh. Maybe you come into a handstand already. Fold forward on your exhalation. All part of the journey. Breathe in, lift halfway. Exhale, fold forward again. Rise up on your breath in. Exhale, hands by the sides. Let's try that again. Breathe in. Exhale, fold forward. Inhale, lift halfway. Exhale, hands down, your journey back. Pushing the hands into the ground, squeezing the shoulder blades back on your back bend. Softening the jaw, unclenching teeth, relaxing the eyebrows. Maybe the eyes are closed or they're focused. Inhale, bend your knees, look forward, maybe a couple of hops, maybe one big hop, finding a tuck with the knees towards the chest. Exhaling to fold forward. Inhaling, lifting halfway. Exhaling, fold forward again. Lifting up, breathe in. Exhale, hands by the sides. One more time, breathe in. Find the play. Exhale, fold forward. Halfway lift. Exhale, hands down, your way back. And if you would like to add on along the way, maybe a crow pose, maybe a handstand hop, although we will be playing with that a little bit later on. Go for it. Finding control of the breath. 2 more breaths. Bend your knees, look forward, grip the ground. Inhale, start to hop. Exhale, land, fold forward. Adho Uttanasana, breathe in. Exhale, fold again. Rise up, breathe in. Exhale, hands by the side, Tadasana. Okay, we're going to play with another sequence, getting some time off the hands, but moving with the breath, finding flow. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, folding forward. Right foot steps back, high lunge. Take a deep breath in as you lift the arms above your head. As we exhale, cactus out the elbows, open the chest. Inhale, lengthen the left leg, reach the arms up. As we exhale, tip your hips back, sweep the arms behind you, lean forward, leaning pyramid. Inhale, lift yourself up, turn to the right side of your mat, right toes turn away. As you exhale, Skandasana, hips towards the right heel, chest lifts up. Inhale, push yourself to the middle of the mat, wide-legged forward fold. Turn the toes in. As you exhale, fold forward. Prasaripodottanasana. Turn to the front again, high lunge. Tuck onto right toes, breathe in, lift the arms, left knee is bent. Exhale, cactus out the elbows. Squeeze shoulder blades together. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, tip the hips back. Chest leans forward, long spine. Inhale, lift the arms. Turn to the right. Exhale, Skandasana, hips towards the right heel. Wide-legged forward fold, breathe in, push yourself out. Exhale, fold forward. Turn to the front again, breathe in, high lunge last time. Exhale, open. Sink a little deeper. Breathe in, lift up. Zip your inner thighs towards each other. Exhale, lean forward. Make sure there's a little bend in your left leg here. Inhale, arms come up. Open to Skandasana. Exhale, bend. Left toes lift up towards the sky. Wide-legged forward fold. Breathe in. Turn the toes in. Exhale, fold forward. Hold here. Couple of breaths in this position. You can keep the hands on the ground. Maybe they're in line with the feet. Another variation is taking the hands behind or to the sides of the leg. Trying to tilt from the pelvis. So belly button draws down, hips lift up. One more breath. Turn to the front, back into our high lunge. Take a deep breath in as you lift your arms above your head. Exhale, elbows bent, open the chest. Hands come down, standing splits, right toes sweep high, breathe in. Fingertips might be on the ground here. Exhale, hold. Now you might stay here. If you felt like practicing your handstand hops, you'll walk your left toes back a little bit. Bend the left leg, look in between your hands, and then lift your right foot up. And then come back down. They might be really small hops, that's totally okay. Eventually, you might get your hips landing on top of your shoulders. You'll grip your fingertips into the ground and the knuckles will lift off. That's gonna help with control. We'll take a few more here. Let's go one more if we're still playing. Standing splits again. Left toes down, right toes up. Slide the right foot next to the left. Utkatasana. Breathe in as you bend your legs, arms come up. Exhale, sink your hips back. Hands come to the chest. Breathe in, lift the heels. As we exhale, slowly lower your hips down towards your heels. Toe stand. Chest lifts up. Take another deep breath in. As we exhale, lean your chest forward, reach your arms forward, lower the heels in the direction of the ground, maybe they touch, and then as best as you can, try and lower the hips down to the ground as lightly as possible. Totally okay if you fall back here. Reach the feet out, Paschimottanasana. Inhale, lift the arms up, lengthen the lower back. Exhale, reach your hands forward, dive the chest forward. Knees might be bent here. Tuck the chin towards the chest. Slow the breath down. Find the control again. One more breath. Walk yourself back. Lift your feet up, Navasana, just for a moment. Knees might be bent, legs might be long. Take a deep breath in. As we exhale, cross over your feet, plant the hands in front of you. You can either step or hop back into chaturanga. Inhale, your back bend of choice. Exhaling, up and back, downward facing dog or child's pose if you'd like a little bit more rest. Two more breaths at the back, wherever we are. Another chance to find that hop, maybe that tuck towards our forward folds. If you're in downward facing dog, bend your knees, look forward, breathe in, and then hop yourself forward, landing the feet down. Maybe you got some air time there. Exhale. Inhale, halfway lift. Exhale, fold forward. Rise up, breathe in. Engage the glutes. Exhale, Tadasana. Hands by the sides. We're only going to repeat that one more time each side. Try to stay focused and connected with your breath. Inhale, lift the arms. Exhale, fold forward. Step your left foot back, high lunge, tuck toes, breathe in, arms lift. Exhale, bend the elbows, open the chest. Inhale, lift the arms, lengthen the right leg. As we exhale, lean forward, chest forward, shoulders squeeze back. Inhale, lift up, Skandasana, turn to the left toes turn away. As you exhale, hips towards the left heels, right toes lift up. Inhale, wide-legged forward fold, turn the toes in. As you exhale, fold forward, maybe a little push of the hands into the ground to get the chest a little lower. Turn to the front, high lunge, right toes turn. Inhale, arms up. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift. Lengthen the right leg. Exhale, lean forward. Inhale, lift up. Turn to the left. Exhale, Skandasana. Inhale, push to halfway. Exhale, fold forward, Prasarita Padottanasana. One more time, how controlled can you get? Inhale, arms lift. Exhale, bend. Inhale, lift up, lengthen the right leg. Exhale, lean forward. Get high on your back toes. Inhale, lift up, turn to the left. Exhale, Skandasana. Wide-legged forward fold, breathe in. Exhale, lower yourself down and hold. Again, maybe the hands stay on the ground, gripping them down. You can even walk the hands behind you. See what happens if you shift your weight forward a little bit into your toes. How does that change the sensation? Turn to the front again, high lunge. Breathe in as you lift your arms up high. Exhale, open the elbows, open the chest. Inhale as you reach your hands down, standing splits, left toes lift high. Exhale, hold. Now feel free to stay here. If you wanted to try the handstands again, you'll shift yourself back, come onto the right ball of your foot, spread your fingertips wide, look in between your hands, bend your right knee, and then you'll start to lift. So it's a little push of your right foot down and it's a lift of the left foot. You need to use both in order to get the energy to lift up, getting the hips on top of the shoulders. And maybe you get the handstand for a moment, maybe you don't. That's totally okay. Okay, finding standing splits again, right foot down, left foot lifted. I just had to cut, there was a really loud rubbish truck coming through, but we'll get back into it. Standing splits, right foot down, left foot up. Utkatasana, left foot comes next to the right. Breathe in as you lift your arms up. As you exhale, sink your hips back a little bit more. Bend the knees, lift up through the belly. Hands to chest, lift the heels, breathe in. As we exhale, slow release down, hips towards heels, toe stand. From here, take a deep breath in. As you exhale, start to lean yourself forward, reach your hands forward. Heels might land down to the ground, maybe they don't. And then as slow and as light as you can, lower the hips down to the ground. It might not feel like that, but we try, we practice. Feet come out again. Take a deep breath and lift up. As we exhale, fold forward. Paschimottanasana, stretch of the west. Feel free to stay here. If you still had a bit more energy for the upper body, what you can do is walk your hands back towards you, hands slightly in front of the hips, really spread the fingertips wide. What you might try and do is lift your hips off the ground. Feet might come back slightly, and what you want to do is protract the shoulder blades. So puff up through your upper back, engage the core, flex the spine. And if you felt like a little bit more, you could lift the right foot off the ground for a moment and then touch it back down. And then the left foot might come off the ground. I tried to do both feet last night and I got a major cramp. So I'm just sticking with the one. One more breath if you're here. And then lower yourself down. Nice. Wherever you are, just lift yourself back up. Breathe in as you lift your feet up into Navasana just for a moment. As we exhale, cross the feet over, plant the hands down. Sepal hop back into your Chaturanga. Back bend of choice. We will meet in child's pose. So bring the knees down. Shift your hips back. Hands could be forward or they could be by your side. One more full breath here. Walk yourself back, hands towards the knees, lift yourself up, clasp your hands into fists and roll out the wrists. We'll have a couple of minutes of free time. I always love having a bit of workshop space in a class that you can pause and play and practice, fall over, all that kind of stuff. So a couple of different options. You can either practice your little handstand tuck. This is a really great way of learning what stacking feels like in the body because having the knees bent makes it more easy to balance. So what you'll do is just like we did before, you'll bend your knees, look forward, breathe in, and then you'll hold your breath as you come up. Aiming to get your hips stacked on top of the shoulders. You might get a little bit of air time. Before coming down like so. Okay, and then if you wanted to play with that, you can. If you wanted to practice your split feet, 1 foot down, 1 foot up. Remember, it's a bend of the bottom leg and it's a lift of the top leg. What's important is getting the core active. So if you get up and you manage to hold it for a second, really think about tucking ribs in, bracing, kind of pushing the hands into the ground, lifting the shoulders away from the ears. If you've had enough time on your hands, it's totally okay. You can also sit down, breathe, come back into child's pose. Let's go for about another minute. Remember, it's about our precision and control and body awareness rather than about what it looks like. And once you are done with playing, just come down. A couple of different options, come back into child's pose, or we'll find puppy pose again. Hips stacked on top of the knees, reach your arms out in front, lower the chest down to the ground. And you might stay in the position that we practice at the very beginning of our class. Another variation is to bend the elbows, press the palms together, bring them behind the back. So touching the thumbs towards kind of the back of the neck. This gets the triceps just a little more. Know that most of our work has been done today. We get to breathe, slow down. One more slow breath. If your hands are behind you, reach them back forward. Walk the hands towards you, sweep your feet around. Come onto your hips. Extend your left leg out, right foot up and over to the left, and then you can either stay here or you can tuck the left foot in, right hip. Just make sure that that stays down on the ground. Adho Mukha Vrksasana. Take a deep breath in, lift up tall. As we exhale, we twist to the right. Right shoulder rolls back, left shoulder rolls forward, and we want a little tip of the pelvis forward, so we lift up through the lower back. You haven't done a huge amount of twisting today at all, really, so it's good to get some in there. One more breath. Come back through center. Let's swap it out to the other side. So right foot out, left foot up and over, and stay there, or you can tuck your right foot in. Take a deep breath in. As we exhale, we twist to the left. Keep your drishti centered, or even close down the eyes. We want to try and control our senses rather than have our senses control us. Come back through center. We're going to make our way down onto our back. Roll yourself down. You might draw the knees up to the chest. Or you could find happy baby. Take the knees a little wider. Hands could come around to the ankles or the shins, maybe up towards the sides of the feet. Rocking from side to side. You could extend one foot out, and drawing it back in, other foot out. And back in, maybe 2 feet out, 2 feet in. Just a little tuck of the chin in towards the chest here. Neck is long on the ground. If there are any final positions you would like to move through before we rest in Shavasana, this is a great time to do so. Otherwise, you could extend the legs out long. A little tuck of the tailbone here. Hips, shoulders get heavy. Eyes and eyebrows relax. The jaw and the lips relax. Eventually, the breath becoming a little bit more shallow, but still long. We'll be here for another couple of minutes in quiet together. I'll let you know when it's time to transition out on the other end. And beginning to come back to the breath. Taking a deep breath in through the nose. Filling up the belly, the ribs, and the chest. Deep breath out through the nose or the mouth. Starting to wake the body up a little bit more, wiggling the toes, wiggling the fingertips. Maybe reaching the arms up and over the head, maybe drawing the knees to the chest. And then grabbing the back of the legs, rolling yourself up, coming back into a seat. Closing down the eyes. Finding a tall spine. Thanking ourselves for turning up to this practice wherever you are in your day. Hopefully having fun. I had fun. And sometimes falling over and learning is the best part of the practice. And it's a practice, it's never going to be perfect. Hands might come to the lap, they might be brought to heart center. Take a deep breath in, lift up a little taller. Deep breath out, let it go. Thank you so much, everyone. Such a pleasure, as always, to move with you, and stick around for 2025. It's going to be a big year. Feel free to check out our Patreon account. That's where we have some longer classes, some really fun ones as well. I'll see you on the mat sometime soon.